Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and it's a little bit different tonight, guys. It's a little bit different tonight. I got to let everybody know because the chat is going crazy tonight. I don't have the venue. I did not want to bring the venue. I did not want to travel heavy, and I am in Franklin, Tennessee right now, live in remote area that I have no idea where I am, and I got 2,000 of you here live already, and I know it's going to be a big night, and I know people are going to be filtering on in here, and I know you know it's going to be a big rant. But the reason why I don't have any of my backdrop and the stang and the intro is because I'm on location. Funny enough, SmackDown tonight was in Memphis, and I'm in Franklin, Tennessee, about 3 hours away. But I am on location because I've always wanted to visit Tennessee. I was in Nashville yesterday. I was in Franklin today. I was in Lynchburg, Tennessee today at the Jack Daniel's Distillery. And I had several cold beverages. And I had a nice whiskey tasting over there. And it's something that I wanted to do. And I figured, you know what? Beginning of January, there really isn't much going on. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. They don't usually do a lot of build for the Royal Rumble. I'm safe. I'm safe from all of the late-breaking, groundbreaking, oh my God, the world is going to end news. And then this bombshell dropped on all of us tonight. And it is what it is, man. I can't help it. The life of a YouTube content creator. When you go on location somewhere, you're terrified of something happening, and I choose the absolute worst times to go on any type of getaway or any type of vacation, man. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and I hope you guys appreciate the fact that I still wanted to go live for you, and I'm still here, and we're doing our thing on Friday night. I will be back in New York on Sunday, and we will have the entire get-up ready. We'll have the venue. We'll be driving to the venue in the Mustang. It's going to be great. And we'll be back and a full-fledged first episode of the flagship show on Sunday live, Sunday night, 8 p.m. It's going to be big, and I hope you guys join me then. Now that I got the explanation out of the way, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about, man? I said it in the summer of 2022. I said it in the summer of 2022. It was the greatest day in WWE history. Vince McMahon stepped away. Vince McMahon went away. Vince McMahon no longer operating WWE like he was for decades upon decades upon decades. Vince McMahon no longer in charge creatively. Triple H, Paul Levesque in charge. We all know what he did with NXT for the last 10 years until they killed it, until Vince and Bruce killed it. Triple H had his balls cut off, and NXT was no more. And we were given NXT 2.0, and basically, it's still a shit show on Tuesday night. Vince McMahon was thrown under the bus by the Wall Street Journal, and I'm assuming WWE Board of Directors, who will remain nameless at this point. I'm assuming that the Board of Directors, the names that Vince McMahon got rid of today, the three of them that he got rid of to replace with himself as head of the board once again, Michelle Wilson and George Barrios. I am under the impression, and don't quote me on this, but it sounds very fishy, that the people that Vince replaced on the board of directors were actually the people that potentially, possibly, could have thrown him under the bus. I'm just making that assumption. Otherwise, he singled out those three people for absolutely no reason. And then later in the afternoon, two more people resigned and stepped down on their own accord, and now there are only 9 members of the board. So we lost 5 today 5 casualties from the WWE Board of Directors because of Vince McMahon's egomaniacal agenda to take the company back and do whatever the fuck he wants to do with it. But it was very sus when I read everything that I read this morning. I woke up to several text messages stating Vince is back, Vince is back. We heard the news yesterday that Vince was reportedly wanting to come back. I didn't know it was going to happen this soon. And it was just a bombshell news day in regards to Vince McMahon. Now, I know a lot of people are very upset at this news. I am very upset at this news, so upset that my tweet yesterday did 300,000 plus impressions on social media. It did almost 7,000 likes on social media, and it got picked up by Fox News today, where I was referenced by my real name and not my YouTube name. So I don't know how that happened. It just happened today. We're starting 2023 off with a fucking bang. That's all I'll say on that. But Vince McMahon yesterday was in the news for wanting to come back. This had happened in December, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is going to be the worst day in WWE history. I did not know that this was going to be facilitated so quickly. Vince McMahon is back as the chairman of the board in WWE. Letters were uncovered to WWE's board of directors outlining his return to chairman of the board. He is now the chairman of WWE's board of directors once again. He's officially back on board. Today, January 6th, filing via the United States Securities and Exchange Commission confirming the news included the letters exchanged between McMahon and the board of directors in December 2022. This is very important. I want to read this to you guys in regards to how all of this came about, because in the shadows, we made mention of, I feel like Vince McMahon is still running WWE creative even in the shadows on Monday night and Friday night. And most of you, if you told me that, I would not really bat an eyelash because, it's in Vince's nature to do something like that. And some of the shows were so fucking bad that it would definitely leave you with that Vince McMahon stink. So if you told me Vince was running shit in the shadows, I would not really argue with you if that was the argument you wanted to come to me with. So he was in the shadows, but he was in the shadows in a different way. He was not running WWE creative. He was in the shadows trying to get the company back because he is so egomaniacal and so fucking full of himself that he could not sit at home and stay retired. Vince McMahon says this: "Dear Board of Directors, I have always recognized that we have a massive responsibility to the WWE universe. Our fans deserve the best entertainment experience that WWE can offer, and I thank you for your efforts to keep our company focused on that goal through this distinctly challenging year for WWE. Throughout my entire tenure with the company, I've always been committed to doing what I believed to be in the best interest of WWE, our employees, our shareholders, fans, and other stakeholders. It also is why I voluntarily retired from the company during the pendency of the special committee investigation and fully cooperated with the committee and its independent counsel's process. My retirement was intended to give the special committee, its independent counsel, and the rest of the board of the directors time and space needed to understand and respond to the allegations. Now that the completion of the special committee investigation has been publicly disclosed, I believe WWE has a unique opportunity during this critical juncture to maximize value for its shareholders and all other stakeholders, specifically given the rapidly evolving media landscape in which more and more companies are seeking to own the intellectual property offered on their streaming platforms. I firmly believe that the best thing to do for all WWE shareholders and other stakeholders is to undertake a comprehensive review of strategic alternatives. I'm confident that our other shareholders will support this decision. As you know, the media rights subject coming up with negotiations are critical to any strategic alternative consideration, and therefore, the two initiatives must occur in parallel fashion. By combining a review of strategic alternatives with the media rights negotiations, our company can make better, more well-informed, and faster decisions. Moreover, any party that engages in strategic discussions with WWE will want to be assured that I, as controlling shareholder, am aligned with the decision-making process. In other words, we must unify the company's decision-making regarding these two interconnected initiatives to fully capitalize on this unique opportunity. For these reasons, it is critical for me to rejoin the board of directors as executive chairman to work alongside our management team in leading the exploration of strategic alternatives and media rights negotiations. And it is necessary to fulfill my commitment to doing what is best for WWE. Successfully navigating this process will require close coordination among WWE leadership and the board, as well as a clearly defined and well-executed strategy to secure the greatest value for the WWE stockholders. As WWE's founder and largest shareholder, 80%, no one has a greater interest in the long-term success of WWE or is more aligned with all of WWE shareholders than me. I want to be very clear that I wholeheartedly believe that WWE has an exceptional management team in place. This guy's full of shit, man. Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, and the rest of the management team have my full and unconditional support. And as executive chairman, I would support them to facilitate unified, efficient, and effective decision-making during this important period in the company's history. An announcement that I'm rejoining the board as executive chairman provides a natural opportunity for WWE to announce its intention to engage in a strategic review process. In light of timing of the media rights cycle, which we all know WWE has media rights deals coming up in 2024 with NBC Universal, USA Network, and Fox Sports. In light of the timing of the media rights cycle, it is important to finalize my return to WWE as soon as possible. Accordingly, I would request to hear back from you by 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, January 3rd. I intend to keep my letter and any communications out of the public domain and trust that the board will continue to do the same. While I, of course, reserve all my rights, my strong preference is to conduct any dialogue regarding this letter privately and in a collaborative effort. I, alongside with corporate counsel at Kirkland and Ellis LLP, am available to discuss any questions you may have. Thank you for your continued commitment to WWE. I look forward to working together to maximize value for our shareholders, other stakeholders, and the entire WWE universe. So the board of directors, they issued a response to Vince McMahon, and this was their response dated December 27th, 2022. Dear Vince, we write in response to your letter of December 20th. We fully agree with your assessment that the company's management team is exceptional. I love the fact, by the way, I love the fact that the board of directors, this is what I picked up on when I read this shit. I love the fact that WWE's board of directors, before they even addressed Vince McMahon, started their reply off with, yes, Vince, yes, we have a great and exceptional management team that is doing fucking great since you've left. Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, and Paul Levesque, who's running both Raw and SmackDown on Monday and Friday night. Ratings are up, the stock was up, and overall interest in the WWE product has been fucking through the roof for the last, I would say, 7 or 8 months. And that is so much more than what we can say for the past 10 years. The excitement for Royal Rumble, the excitement for WrestleMania, it is all through the roof right now because of potential storylines that WWE has going on right now on television. So I love the fact that they actually threw that in there before they even addressed Vince McMahon. And the rest of the management team have your full support and unconditional support. We believe that our investors, employees, and fans agree. Of course we do. There is tremendous excitement at the company and among our fan base, and our stock price has grown by more than 40% in just the last year. Half of which was Vince, and then the second half was Triple H. But it went up when Triple H took charge, and because of all the excitement going on, and WWE sold out. SummerSlam was a sellout. Clash at the Castle was a sellout of 63,000 people. Extreme Rules was the most viewed Extreme Rules pay-per-view in the company's history. WWE sold out the Royal Rumble on just a whim, right? On just being the Royal Rumble. This is Triple H's first WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is already sold out. WrestleMania is sold out. We don't even have one fucking match announced. It's WrestleMania season starting at the Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania is already sold out at Los Angeles, at SoFi Stadium. That's 70,000 fucking tickets for night 1 and night 2. They sold over 140,000 fucking tickets for WrestleMania with nothing announced. They could barely sell out AT&T Stadium in April of last year. So clearly Triple H is doing something right. Triple H is in there, and people prefer Triple H in charge of WWE. A lot of people have stopped watching the product when Vince was around. They came back because Vince is no longer there. 40% up in the last year. We remain optimistic about the continued success of this management team and the WWE franchise overall, and we believe your support is critical to this success. As you know, it is our obligation to continue to act in a way we believe is best for the company's interest and its shareholders. We always take responsibility very seriously, and all of our decisions are guided by this duty. With respect to your suggestion regarding a process to evaluate strategic alternatives and your role in that process, we are prepared to initiate such a process and are happy to work with you to ensure that it is the best process for the company and all of its shareholders. Indeed, we would welcome you and your advisors playing an important role in that process, including working together to identify the full range of potential alternatives and counterparties. To that end, we suggest that your bankers and lawyers meet with our bankers and lawyers in the first week of January to discuss how the best move is to move forward together with this process. Although we welcome your participation in the launch of a strategic alternative and a review process, it is also our unanimous view that your return to the company at this time, while government investigations into your conduct by the U.S. Attorney's Office and SEC are still pending, would not be prudent from a shareholder's value perspective. This determination, they're basically telling him that if he comes back, it's not going to be in the best interest of the shareholders, because there is more dirt on Vince that has not reached the public eye yet, and that's what they're afraid of. And it's going to happen eventually. This determination is based on a variety of factors, including non-public information the board has become aware of. They already have the dirt on him. They already know what we don't know. And if he steps further into that position, clearly he doesn't care, but if he steps further into that position, they could weaponize that. They could use that to get him out and get him out for good. And who knows who has an agenda against Vince on that board of directors in that company that will do that. So they're already telling him, you coming back in any way, shape, or form is already going to be a detriment to the company. You know, a lot of the narrative out there on social media is, oh, Vince is back. Look, the stock is up 20% today. I think they closed on Wall Street at $87 a share. It's not because Vince is back. It's because everybody has hung on to Vince's words about selling WWE. The nature of WWE right now, creatively, is working towards getting better. And that's what I care about. This is what this entire podcast and this channel is built on. WWE's creative aspect. I don't give a fuck how much money they're making. I don't have any WWE stock. I don't give a shit if you own WWE. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a shit? It's none of our business how much money people are making off WWE stock or how many shares you own or what the stock price is. I don't care. Nobody's ever cared about that over here. We care about what we see on television, because when we see something good on television and we see what Triple H is doing and the interest is up, everything, and I said this for years, everything else is going to follow. Better television is going to lead to bigger stock prices. Better creative is going to lead to bigger stock prices. Better ratings, which Triple H did at the start of Monday Night Football season. Monday Night Football devoured WWE on Monday night. Triple H was in the twos. When was the last time Monday Night Raw even sniffed a 2.0 rating? I can't even begin to tell you. They were in the 1.4s, 1.5 when Vince was there. Bigger ratings are going to lead to a bigger stock price in WWE. That's what people don't understand. The overall interest. Look how much money they were making. Look, all the events I just told you that they sold out. I mean, they were doing things, and the interest in the product was so fucking hot that I can't even remember a time where WWE was this hot, right? It's a great thing to see, because we don't want WWE to go under. We don't want WWE to fail. We don't want to have to choose sides. Oh, Tony Khan's over there running AEW, right? AEW is the best show. I don't want that. I want to watch both shows equally, and I want to enjoy both shows equally. I don't want to have to choose fucking which show is better on a weekly basis. We all love our professional wrestling. But they're already telling him that we already have shit on you that we know that's not in the public eye. And if you come back, it's not going to look good. And it's not going to look good for the company and our shareholders. The attached draft letter agreement provides that the board will not agree to the shareholder demand that the company file suit against you on the conditions that you can confirm your commitment to repay all of the investigation-related expenses incurred by the company, that you agree not to serve as an officer, director, or employee of the company during the pendency of the government investigations. $19.8 million should have been recorded as company money, and Vince McMahon basically got away with it. They swept it under the rug. They swept it under the rug and said, all right, you're free to go as long as you don't do blah, 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 A, B, C, D, E. And most of those things were come back to the WWE and resume your position that you had before Triple H took over in June. That's what everybody's afraid of. Those conditions and the draft letter agreement reflecting such conditions were unanimously approved by the board prior to receiving your letter on December 20th and were reaffirmed unanimously subsequent to that date. We are excited about the future of WWE and its continued success, and we look forward to working with you in the exploration of potential strategic alternatives as we continue to maximize shareholder value. Vince then replied back to the board of directors, and this was an ongoing email back and forth. And I want to read you the back and forth of Vince McMahon and the board of directors. Vince responded on December 31, New Year's Eve. Dear board of directors, I appreciate your timely response to my December 20 letter. However, it is surprising that you did not address what I had sought to make clear in my letter. Namely, that we have a unique but narrow window of opportunity to maximize shareholder value by combining the upcoming media rights negotiations with a strategic review process the board acknowledges is the right course of action for our shareholders. And that the only way to fully capture that opportunity is by having me, the company's founder and controlling shareholder, return, because nobody else in the fucking company can facilitate a TV rights deal with NBC, Universal, and Fox. It's got to be Vince McMahon. Because Stephanie McMahon can't do that as co-CEO. Because Nick Khan, of all fucking people, can't do that, right? I don't understand that. The fuck did they bring him in for if he can't facilitate? Nick Khan is the reason for a lot of WWE's mega money deals. I don't know why he can't do that alongside Stephanie McMahon. Why does it got to be Vince McMahon? It doesn't have to be Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon found a loophole, and he forced his way back into the position of head of the board of directors. That's what he did. This is a loophole for him to get back in. He's looking for any which way to get back in and then do what he does because he's majority shareholder, 80% of the company stock. Namely, that we have a unique but narrow window of opportunity, blah, 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 blah. And that the only way to fully capture that opportunity is by having me return as executive chairman at this critical time so that I can work alongside the management team to unify the decision-making related to these two interconnected initiatives. I would like to be clear that unless I have direct involvement and input as executive chairman from the outset, I will not be able to support or approve any media rights deals or strategic transaction, including any commitments made by or on behalf of the company regarding a potential transaction or process. This position is not driven by self-interest or a lack of confidence in the company's management team, but rather by my commitment to doing what is best for WWE and its shareholders, and by my strong belief that maximizing the outcome of these processes will require close coordination and unified and efficient decision-making. I sincerely hope we can work together to unlock this tremendous value and potential. There is no rationale for your position that my return to the company would not be prudent from a shareholder value perspective. To the contrary, my return in the context of the media rights negotiations and a potential value-maximizing strategic transaction is necessary precisely from a shareholder value perspective because it will allow WWE as well as any transaction counterparties to engage in these processes knowing that they will have the support of the controlling shareholder. Further, the special committee of the board has concluded its investigation, and presumably all of the material findings have been publicly disclosed by the company, and nothing has been communicated to me about any matter that would prevent me from returning to the board. So Vince is basically lying that, or telling the board of directors that they're lying, that they may have more dirt on Vince, and he is downright downplaying that in his rebuttal letter to the board here on December 31. So while I am pleased to see that we all agree as to the board's obligations to act in the best interest of WWE and its shareholders, it remains unclear to me how the board can discharge these obligations if it does not permit me to actively be involved in helping to lead these two interconnected initiatives from within the boardroom so I can make a fully informed decision about whether any potential transaction creates the most value for its shareholders. I also feel that it is necessary to clearly state my position that in light of the fundamental nature of WWE's media rights to the core value proposition and purpose of WWE, it would be improper for the company or the board to take material steps towards any media right deal without WWE shareholder support, particularly considering that a very clear majority of the voting power explicitly opposes the company taking these steps without shareholder support. So he's basically using his share in the company as leverage now. Like, I own 80%, and it's all got to go through me. Regarding the shareholder demand letter, I am glad to learn that following a review of the shareholder demand, the board has determined that the demand does not warrant any further legal action. However, it is unfortunate that the board would seek to use this conclusion to attempt to extract an agreement from me not to return to the company. Any construct along these lines is entirely unacceptable, especially in the light of the critical inflection points now facing the company. I would also like to clarify that my intention is to avoid the creation of any conflict of interest related to the special committee's investigation or related matters because of my return to the board. As executive chairman and consistent with my prior actions, I would not interfere with any government investigations or the special committees and independent directors process in cooperating with these or related investigations, and would fully support appropriate and tailored governance measures to insulate me from these matters, as well as any improvements to the company's internal controls determined to be appropriate by the independent directors. As I have previously conveyed, I also remain willing to continue working to finalize my reimbursement of the company for its reasonable expenses incurred related to the investigation by and findings of the special committee to the extent not covered by insurance. Finally, I would like to reiterate my full support for WWE's management team and their leadership of the WWE franchise. It remains my sincere preference that we enable a cooperative path forward so that we can navigate these interconnected processes together for the benefit of our shareholders. I look forward to hearing back from you promptly, and in any case, no later than January 5th, 2023, which was yesterday. And that's when the news broke that Vince was weaseling his way back. And then this morning, we got the news that Vince was head of the board of directors once again for WWE, as he announced his return alongside Michelle Wilson and George Barrios to the WWE board of directors. I want to read this line again because I found this to be, if I can go and find it, it's just amazing to me that he's basically in this telling everybody that he's going to hold the company hostage. That's exactly what he said in this entire thing. I feel like it's necessary to clearly state my position that in light of the fundamental nature of WWE's media right deals to the core value, it would be improper for the company to take material steps towards any media right deal without WWE shareholder support. So he's basically saying that he will not agree to anything being majority shareholder. If there are negotiations, he will not further any negotiations and not conduct any negotiations with anybody until he is back in the board of directors, until he's back in the WWE. So he used all of this as leverage to get himself back in the company. It is a lowball, scummy move by Vince, and I did not expect this to happen so soon. And with him retiring last year, forced to step down, everybody thought it was the end of Vince. Everybody's worried. Everybody's worried. The reason from what we read here, the reason why he's back is because he wants to facilitate a sale of the company. Now he wants to sell the company. The stock rose to $87 today on Wall Street, closing on Friday. And it had nothing to do with Vince being back in power and because people choose Vince over who's in charge right now, Stephanie, Nick Khan, and Paul Levesque. It has nothing to do with Vince being back. All Vince needed to, one of the shareholders could have came out and said, yes, or Nick Khan could have came out and said, yes, we're seeking offers to sell the company. The stock would have been up no matter what, or no matter who said that. It doesn't matter if Vince or anybody else said it. It was just everybody got excited about a potential sale of the company. That's the reason why he's stating that he's back, because he wants to facilitate a sale of the company. Mr. McMahon, per the Wall Street Journal, who has majority voting power through his ownership of WWE's Class B stock, has told the company that he is electing himself and two former co-presidents, which he did, Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, to the board. The move to reinstate Mr. McMahon was done, as you guys know, which the board previously rebuffed, and the others will require 3 current directors to vacate their positions. Vince, like Thanos, snapped his fingers and made 3 board of directors disappear today, and then 2 stepped down and resigned on their own accord. Mr. McMahon said, Ms. Wilson and Mr. Barrios are highly qualified directors whose professional experience positions help the company achieve the best possible outcomes in both initiatives. As former WWE co-presidents and board members, they are intimately familiar with the industry dynamics and the organization's operations and have helped guide the company through the past and have been successful with media rights negotiations. I look forward to working closely again with Michelle and George, as well as the company's remaining directors and management team, who have my full support and confidence. WWE has an exceptional management team in their place, and I do not intend for my return to have any impact on their roles, duties, or responsibilities. Where have we heard that before? First of all, I love that Vince brought Michelle Wilson and George Barrios back, because all he's doing is basically lining up his soldiers to basically get what he wants. Now, he thinks Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon and Paul Levesque are going to be on his team regardless, because that's his family, that's his daughter, that's his son-in-law. Nick Khan's going to have to do whatever Vince says anyway, because he's 80% shareholder. Vince brought in 2 people here, Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, because he knows with those 2, he has votes, right, to do whatever he wants. And then he's got the family vote with Stephanie and Triple H and then Nick Khan. I mean, what's Nick Khan going to do, go against Vince McMahon? So he's got those 5 votes right there, and there are only 9 members of the board. So he's got majority now of the board of directors on his side, and no matter what the other 4 fucking people do, I mean, they may be weeded out by the end of the goddamn weekend. We don't know. There may be no board of directors at the end of all this. But right now, Vince has complete fucking power. He has 5 board of directors on his side, presumably, right? And then the other 4, who gives a fuck? That's the way I see it. Vince basically weaseled himself back into full power. Now, the Wall Street Journal adds that McMahon sent a letter to the board of directors in December, which we just went over. The board responded to these letters, and everybody now is worried that with him back in power and him as the head of the board of directors, that things are going to get ugly in WWE. And I mean downright ugly, to a point where he's back in full control of basically everything. And it's very tough to sit there and not think that's going to happen. You know, you can listen to all these fucking geeks and these people online with their verified Twitter blue fucking check marks thinking who they are, or these analytical fucking scumbags on social media. They don't go out there. They're not in the trenches talking about, you know, the fucking shit that you see on a weekly basis. We do that here. We do that here. We've been on top of everything from the word go. We've been on top of all this. We've been on top of Vince and his fucking shit on Monday for the last 10 years. We've been on top of Vince destroying NXT. We've been on top of the Vince retirement. And we're on top of Triple H now in his creative role on WWE television. If you're not scared of Vince McMahon assuming full power in WWE, I don't know why you're not, honestly. I really don't. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, yeah, Vince is not going to take creative control over anything. Well, we didn't really anticipate Vince McMahon fucking retiring in 2022 either. And we didn't expect Vince McMahon to stay away in 2023. And now here we are. Both of these things happened in a span of 8 months. We also didn't expect Vince McMahon to get away with this shit, right? Some of you thought that he was in hot water with this. I thought that there's no way he could come back from this. A lot of people said, well, Vince is going to fucking win this one just like he won everything else. And he didn't. He didn't. A lot of people are looking stupid because of what happened here. And a lot of people are acting stupid if they are out there feeling and thinking that he's not capable of doing what the internet feels like he's going to do. This man is capable of severe damage. This man is capable of killing the fucking company in one fell swoop. And that's what I feel like he's going to do. Creatively, Vince McMahon forced his way back into WWE. He elected himself, George Barrios, and Michelle Wilson to the board of directors. Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp have already heard from dozens within WWE who were all floored by the announcement. Nobody in any department, talent, production, creative, or general staff that we've heard back from was briefed, tipped off, or given any information before immediately before or immediately after the news broke. Not one bit, but considering some people from his regime were kept this long, they must have known it would be happening. We'll see if they talk to us tomorrow, one talent told Fightful, referring to the upcoming January 6th SmackDown taping. Another top WWE talent wasn't only given any information, but also asked what the possibilities of a return to creative would be. The idea that McMahon could return to creative has been a common concern amongst talents. The two sources we heard back from within creative had not learned of any adjustments to their duties and said that they were sent some notes for SmackDown shortly before the Wall Street Journal Vince McMahon story. Keeping with the theme, production employees were also not informed. The unanimous reaction that we gained from many who commented on the matter was either bad news or news above their pay grade that they wouldn't concern themselves with until they needed to. One source noted the increase in the after-hours stock price. One talent said, finding out online all the news is scary, and it's Vince, so I don't believe a word he says. That's coming from a fucking talent in the company right now, currently. They don't trust Vince, and they don't believe a word he says. I hope current management and everything doesn't change, but only time will tell. Before noting they have a lot of respect for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, another talent says they believe there will be a roster uproar if Vince McMahon returns to head creative again. I can't count how many interviews I've read or people I talked to outside the company that said Vince liked me, but I got fired. He didn't like you. He didn't like any of them. He fired them, and they wouldn't have been fired during a pandemic if he did like them. One concerned higher-up said, I would be blown away if he returned to creative. A recent signed talent's return stated to Fightful. Now, while every statement and indication suggested that Vince McMahon, who's 77 years old, by the way, and his primary motivation in returning is to negotiate the rights deals and potentially even a sale, questions obviously are going to be raised, and you are not wrong if you are raising these questions. Questions have persisted about whether or not he will get involved with the product on a deeper level. Fans have largely viewed WWE programming as better since Paul Levesque took over and replaced Vince McMahon as head of creative, and there is some thought that McMahon would want to take back booking power after having served in that role from 1982 until last June in 2022. Triple H appears safe in his position for now. Some reports were stating that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon even stated today in a public comment that the management teams will not change, and Paul Levesque is still and will be fulfilling all head of creative roles and duties in WWE. He seems to be safe for now, although it is fair to speculate and wonder about his standing in the company if McMahon returning to power will have any dampening on that situation and what will happen to the talent that Triple H has brought back to the company that Vince McMahon ultimately fired while he was there as head of creative. Now, WWE did hold an employee meeting today, and nothing was really detailed. It went 8 minutes, reportedly from Fightful. The meeting was pushed back slightly from 3:30 and did not get underway until 4 p.m. This was this afternoon. Talent was not involved. There were no questions taken at all. It was stressed that the day-to-day is not changing across the board. They spoke about Vince McMahon being the controlling shareholder and the possibility of a sale, as well as the media rights deal. Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, and Frank Riddick led the meeting. It was noted that the sale could be a huge positive and that they would be looking at a potential sale and offers before negotiating the rights fees. Vince McMahon will get the final say on everything. They said a sale might not happen and the company could be taken private if there is a sale. That really piqued my interest. The company could be taken private if there is a sale of the company, which I've been longing for years. One thing that I've said about WWE and the publicized company that has become on Wall Street, and being that it is now a publicly traded company, is that the product has diminished year over year over year over year. I feel like if it does go private, then I do think that we would get back the WWE, or at least some of the WWE that we've loved in years before they went to being a publicly traded company. We would get some of that risque shit back. We would get more of an adult-themed program instead of some of the kiddie shit that we usually see on TV that people can't fucking stand. So I hope that's the case. I hope they sell the fucking company, and I hope that it does go private because it would be better off for everybody. It would be better for the company because they'd be a little bit more open-ended to do whatever the fuck they want. They got to keep the shareholders happy instead of keeping the fucking fans happy. The fans are in second place. And the product would be better for it because they'd be free to do whatever they want instead of being scrutinized by it being a publicly traded company. I think that would be great. It was noted that the potential buyers could be more interested in WWE as a property than just a product, but that's a wait-and-see thing. Michelle Wilson and George Barrios and them being rehired was mentioned as two people who helped sell WWE's biggest rights fees deals. They were around when the WWE Network got started. So Vince trusts them, and that's the reason why he brought them back, and they have Vince's best interest at heart, and they're going to do whatever Vince says. If Vince wants them to jump through a fucking ring of fire, they're going to jump, and Vince is going to sit there with a huge-ass fucking grin on his face. That's the gist of it. Everything else I'm going to say for Sunday. Everything else I'm going to say for Sunday when we get back to New York and I'm operating the way that I want instead of out of a fucking echoey room in the middle of nowhere. I said this for months. And you guys are going crazy in the chat. We got super chats galore. I will get to those in a little bit, okay? WWE, with Vince coming back, is right now in this uncertain gray area. We don't know what's going to happen. The narrative being thrown out there by some people that I see, some people that I know, is that, oh, Vince is not going to go and head up creative. You don't know that. And it's fucking stupid for you to even say that. Because absolutely nobody on this fucking planet had Vince retiring in 2022 on their wrestling bingo card. Nobody. So you can't say that Vince is not going to take over creative. Vince is not going to do this. Vince is not going to do that. It's WrestleMania season. This is a fucking egomaniac we're dealing with. You don't think that Vince was stewing at home thinking to himself, how could they have WrestleMania without me in the company? That's exactly what he was doing. Vince will not allow a WrestleMania to go on without him as long as he is alive and breathing. I said this when Vince McMahon was there running the show. I said this with every NXT call-up that Vince destroyed, that Triple H put his blood, his sweat, and his tears into, that Vince fucking ruined, ultimately killing their careers and then getting rid of them. I said this when Vince McMahon basically killed Triple H and NXT. The black and gold was dead. Triple H got a heart attack. Triple H was removed of all duties. He was pushing fucking pencils in Stamford, Connecticut, and filing papers and making Bruce Pritchard's Starbucks run. That's what Triple H was doing. I said it then, and I said it up until June. Vince McMahon will do anything and everything to kill this company and not have it run successfully under anybody else. He would rather kill this company dead. I believe I read somewhere that he would bankrupt the fucking company if he didn't get his way. Vince would bankrupt the company if he did not get his way and kill the company that we love if he does not get his way. He would rather kill the company than see Stephanie run it. He would rather kill the company seeing, the way that it is now, kill the company and not have Triple H run it better than him. Everything that Triple H has done up until this point has been better than Vince McMahon. Is WWE's product perfect? No. And it's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect because there's nothing in this world that is perfect, ever. Triple H is not going to perfect a WWE show. Can't do it with Monday Night Raw being 3 hours. SmackDown, great roster. It's been largely the best show on television out of all three major pro wrestling shows in your week. Tonight was a dud. There are misses. They're never all hits. But Vince would rather kill the company than have Triple H run the company better than him. Vince would kill the company than have Stephanie McMahon continue doing and making money, more money, and see the company flourish under her. He would rather kill it than have that happen. Vince, it's sad to say, CM Punk's pipe bomb still lives true all these years later. Vince, honestly, if he was to go away forever, if he was to expire, the WWE would be in a better position and in a position where the opportunity for it to flourish and grow would be exponential. And I said it. Vince is only back for one reason and one reason only. Because he can't let it go, and he's an egomaniac, and he does not want to see others run his company while he's still alive better than him. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't. Is Vince McMahon going to come back to creative? I would not lie to you guys. If I felt bad, if I felt something was off, if I felt something was wrong, I would let you know. Do I think Vince McMahon is going to come back to creative? I can't really answer that. I don't think anybody is in a position to answer that. We didn't think Vince was going to retire. We didn't think Vince was going to get fucking caught. We thought Vince was going to get a slap on the wrist. I even told Jesse, I think Vince is going to fucking get away with this shit. Jesse kept pushing that. Bro, he's got all this shit piling on top, one after another after another. He is done. He's finished. I didn't believe it. I did not believe it. But that's the image. That's the reputation that Vince McMahon has created for himself. He's created this insurmountable fucking godlike status amongst everybody. Like, he's impervious to pain. Nothing's going to fucking take him down. That's what the public image of Vince McMahon has been all through his tenure on TV as Mr. McMahon. It's basically art imitating life. That's what the entire Vince McMahon character was. He took that. What you saw on TV was basically Vince McMahon. The Vince McMahon that you saw on television is the Vince McMahon you get in Stamford, Connecticut. He was basically looked at as a god, impervious. Nobody's going to topple me. Nobody's going to take me down. And it happened. So is Vince going to come back to creative? I can't answer that question. But if I am going to be brutally honest with you guys, tonight on January 6th, do I feel Vince is going to run creative? Right now, no. No. I do think that if that does happen, the board of directors will get involved. And the reason why I say that is because with Vince being allowed back as head of the board of directors, that one line in their first rebuttal to Vince McMahon, they immediately, before they even addressed all of Vince McMahon's concerns, they addressed, yes, we are absolutely happy with Vince, with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan in replace of Vince. We're happy with the current management team in place because every aspect of the company has been up, and it has nothing to do with you. Every aspect of the company is up because you're not here anymore. And that's what they did. That's exactly what they told him, right in his face. So do I think Vince is going to run creative? Right now, no. And I won't lie to you guys. I don't think he's running creative. I don't think he's going to be running creative right now. If Vince was to walk back into that locker room, and if Vince was to assume his position as head of creative, nobody's going to want to work there. Nobody. You would see, and it's been reported that there would be a mass exodus of WWE talent. Every single person. There are going to be people that are going to keep their mouth shut because they're loyal to Vince McMahon and they don't want to have that bridge burned and whatnot. Everybody, the majority of the people that work there are very happy that he's not there. The reports that came out after Vince was gone, morale amongst producers, morale amongst staff, hours working there seem like fucking a pleasant experience now. Nobody's walking on eggshells. The locker room environment has fucking been free of this cancer known as Vince McMahon. Michael Cole on commentary. I mean, I could go over the list of things that have been changed on WWE television. Just look at Michael Cole just doing his commentary on SmackDown. Look at all the shit that he's been able to. He sounds like a human being. Look at all of the people that Triple H has brought back. Look at the things that Triple H has changed. Look at the situations where Vince was doing something with Austin Theory, cutting his name in half, and have him go out there as Theory, and Triple H changed something like that. Triple H getting rid of gimmick pay-per-views, not having a pay-per-view in December because he wanted to maximize his Royal Rumble build. I mean, these are things that should have been done while Vince was in charge, but he didn't want to do it because he was only a one-man show. He wanted to do everything himself. And Triple H now is saying, well, I've been hearing all these complaints for years. Why are we not doing this? Because most of the time the fans have said this for years. They've been right. And they've gone unnoticed. And they've gone unheard. Little things like this. Look at SmackDown. I mean, just look at SmackDown when Vince was running it and look at SmackDown now. SmackDown was the worst show on television. And now look at where SmackDown is. SmackDown is heralded as the best WWE show in the last 6 or 7 months. And look at what Triple H has done to bolster that roster. Look at what he's done to transform the show. I can count on one hand how many fucking rematches Triple H has given us in his 6 or 7 months in WWE. This was not where SmackDown was under Vince at all. It was a complete disaster. I mean, I went over this time and time again. The ratings would be in the fucking toilet. Sami Zayn wouldn't be in the bloodline. Sami Uso wouldn't be a thing. Sami Zayn would be kicked out of the fucking bloodline. You wouldn't be getting Cody Rhodes against Roman at WrestleMania. You wouldn't be getting Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns would still be feuding. You wouldn't have Bray Wyatt back in the company. The viral campaign that you saw with the White Rabbit wouldn't have been a thing. LA Knight would still be in the Maximum Male Models. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Rhea Ripley wouldn't be where she is. Finn Balor would probably end up released. The club wouldn't be back with AJ Styles. None of the returns that you've seen come back, Bronson Reed, Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, you name them over and over and over and over again, would not be back in the company. AEW, they would still have that momentum that they had while Vince was there. Their momentum took a hit. Why? Because of Triple H. Nobody really understands the value of what Triple H has brought to the table. He's changed all these things about WWE, and yes, they are not really, oh my God, blow away. They've changed the show in a transcendent way. If there's one thing that Triple H did, he fucking went for a knockout blow. Triple H is putting himself in that position and assuming head of creative on the main roster for Raw and SmackDown was a fucking knockout blow for Tony Khan and AEW. Tony Khan was riding high in the summer, man. They had Punk. They had that storyline with MJF all ready to go. They went into All Out. They had Forbidden Door. A knockout blow. And AEW was sitting there with zero momentum. Seemingly felt like everybody was just on Triple H's side. AEW was no longer the alternative anymore. They were the alternative when Vince McMahon was there because Vince McMahon wasn't doing what Triple H was doing. Vince McMahon was giving us sports entertainment. Triple H is giving us a perfect mix of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. And Tony Khan, he sat there like, what the fuck do I do now? I could go up against Vince and be a success because I know Vince is fucking out of touch. I'm the young guy. I'm the 30-something years old fucking billionaire running this company the way pro wrestling fans have desired all these years. I'm the alternative. He can't really claim that he's the alternative now with Triple H because Triple H was doing this well before Tony Khan even put his money into AEW. So what alternative was Tony Khan? Triple H sucked the fucking momentum away from AEW like that. Why would they not want Triple H there? This is a shitty situation. It's a terrible situation. Why anybody would want Vince McMahon back is fucking just mind-numbingly stupid. You could be the biggest Vince McMahon dick rider on the planet. Why would you want him back? You, of all people, should know that he's not good for business. The board of directors knows that he's not good for business. They told him so. The board of directors knows who should be running this company. The people that are in place right now. Not Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's not going to be back in WWE running things creatively. Though I would love to see what would happen if he does walk back there and assume creative. But I can guarantee you right now, people are finally at a point to where they're waking up. They're waking up. They have woken up from this Vince fucking, Vince doesn't really need to be there. I think the majority of the people watching this shit realize that life will go on without Vince McMahon and WWE. You know what? Life is somewhat better. Life is somewhat a lot easier with Triple H in charge. I'm looking forward to SmackDown every fucking Friday at 8 p.m. I'm not exhausted during a Monday Night Raw like I used to be, right? Somewhat still a drag to watch 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, but it's not as bad as it was. Life is not so bad with Triple H running the show. Why the fuck do we need Vince McMahon back? Why would anybody now, after getting 7 months of Triple H, say, yeah, Vince is better than Triple H. Vince, yeah, he's Vince. He should go back. You don't think talent's going to revolt? You don't think the board of directors is going to say something? You don't think Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Nick Khan are gonna speak up and say something? If Vince McMahon is back to facilitate a sell of the company, if Vince McMahon is back because he wants to facilitate TV deals coming up in 2024, fine. Let him do that. If that's the extent of Vince being back, fine. But if Vince is going to come back, and we don't know, and he's going to undo everything that Triple H did because he's done it before, there's no reason why we have to sit here and say, hey, he's not going to do it again. He is capable of doing it again, and he has done it before. So if you're going to tell me, don't worry, no, you can't say don't worry. You can't tell me don't worry because he's done the unthinkable how many fucking times before? He killed what was the best WWE product in ages because his son-in-law was running it better than his main roster. And Vince couldn't stand it. Everything that Vince was given to on a silver platter by Triple H, he destroyed. Why? Because he wasn't the one who created it. Triple H did. So he killed NXT, he killed basically everything, and he fired everything that Triple H had a hand in because it got him excited. It was like a sport. It was like he went out hunting with Bruce, and that was his fucking hobby. How can we kill everything that this man did? And that's exactly what they did. You think Vince McMahon gave a shit about the fucking fan? How many times have we been complaining online about things that need to be done, what's not being done, what needs to be done? Nobody listened to us. Nobody listened to us. Vince didn't listen to us. Bruce didn't listen to us. All of these things that happened in the last 6 to 7 months, what do you think that's a product of? That's a product of Triple H knowing the fans and knowing what they've been complaining about, and he actively did something because he knows that the most important thing in the WWE is its fucking fans. And that's exactly what he went out there to do, to make us happy. Do you think WWE would have gotten a fucking UK pay-per-view this year and they just announced for next year, Money in the Bank? You think Vince McMahon was so fucking against putting a pay-per-view or a special event in the United Kingdom or bringing a WrestleMania to the United Kingdom because it was cited that the time difference was something that he didn't want to really explore for a WrestleMania. He wasn't interested in putting a WrestleMania on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Nearly 70,000 fucking people in September, and it was their best show. It may have been the best fucking show all year out of any promotion. And you mean to tell me that you wouldn't want to do that for WrestleMania? All these things. Yet you want Vince back. Yet people want Vince back. It's unbelievable to me. Do I think Vince is going to be back? It's tough to say. But I'm not really sitting here in the middle of nowhere in Franklin, Tennessee, worried about Vince McMahon running creative. I think Vince McMahon is going to do what he set out to do, and that is sell the company. He wants to sell the company. And when he does, because it will sell, and there are suitors right now, I even have a potential fucking buyer here, a story about a potential buyer. The Saudi Public Investment Fund is eyeing the WWE. This would kill WWE. This would basically kill all of us because I don't think there would be a WWE if this actually happened. Front Office Sports is reporting that Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is emerging as a potential bidder for the company. The PIF already controls a staggering $620 billion. Yes, $620 billion in assets, and WWE could be the latest addition to their portfolio. If the name sounds familiar, the Saudi Public Investment Fund are the majority owner of the English Premier League club Newcastle United and sparked controversy in 2022 with the launch of Live Golf, a rival to the PGA Tour. In the same way they did LIV, there's an unlimited faucet of dollars there. Lightshed Partners analyst Brandon Ross told Front Office Sports, the Saudis are already a decent part of the profitability of the company just based on these 2 WWE events alone. They're trying to be relevant in the entertainment world. The report also notes that sources have put forward the following about other potential buyers. Amazon entered the United States sports business in a big way with $1 billion a year deal to exclusively stream the NFL's Thursday Night Football games through 2033. Comcast's NBC Universal and Fox corporations, which already boast media rights deals for both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, respectively, are paying WWE $2 billion, respectively, each, one and one, for both intellectual properties. Endeavor purchased a controlling stake in the UFC for $4 billion in 2016. Liberty Media, who own the Atlanta Braves, by the way, which is amazing to me, they spent $4.4 billion on Formula One in 2016, but they skimped on fucking Dansby Swanson, giving him $100 million, which is ridiculous to me. I don't really get... Liberty Media owns Formula One at $4.4 billion, but they couldn't pay him an extra $70 fucking million to play the shortstop position this year. It's unbelievable to me. And global talent agency CAA is a potential suitor for the WWE. I hope not. That would be terrible. I don't think... listen, Vince is going to sell to the highest bidder no matter what. I mean, they could offer anything, and Vince would probably fucking give it a serious thought. I don't want that to happen. What I do think will happen is WWE will be sold, and whoever ends up buying the company itself will continue to be run by the McMahon family. It's basically going to be what UFC is with Dana White. You know, they sold the UFC to Endeavor, and Dana White is still running the UFC, and he's still this figurehead and the spokesman for UFC. It's going to be something along those lines. But a potential deal, more so with this now, Vince is putting himself in this position, more so than any other time in the company's history, a sale of the company is going to be facilitated, and we don't know when that's going to be. You know, WrestleMania is coming up in Los Angeles in April. I had predicted months ago that, you know, WrestleMania 40 sounds like a nice round number for a WWE sale. So we will see what happens. Within the next year, I would say, the next year and maybe a quarter, we're going to see WWE in the hands of somebody else. And WWE is going to be selling. So we will see what happens. But anything else, we have another, I would say, 48 hours before WWE reveals any more news, or there's more news about this story, which will take me to Sunday, and we will have a brand new episode of the podcast on Sunday night, and we'll talk more extensively about this when I'm home, when I'm in the venue, and we got everything that we need to do on Sunday night. It's going to be great, so make sure you guys RSVP to that. It's going to be a big show, and I got major news on that. I got major news on Sasha Banks. I got just a whole slew of news on Sunday nights, and it's going to be a big show, so make sure you guys tune into that. But I want to thank you guys very much for joining me on this Friday night, man. We got 3,600 people live on YouTube right now. I appreciate you guys very much. This is exactly what I love to see. We got some super chats. We got some bombs tonight. We got some big bombs tonight, man. We got couple of $100 super chats. We got one from Nick Williams. Nick motherfucking Williams, man. Unbelievable. We got one from Matt, the PW fan. We got one from KW. We got some bombs tonight, gentlemen. Thank you very much for all your supports. I appreciate you all. We're going to go over SmackDown. We're going to go over SmackDown in just a little bit. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cameo. So make sure you guys hit me up on social media. We are nearing 48,000 followers on Twitter, which is a great deal, man. This news is, it's getting the numbers up, which is a great thing. So I appreciate all the new followers. I appreciate all the new subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very much. How am I sounding, by the way? Is what I want to know. You guys know I'm a perfectionist when it comes to sound. How am I sounding tonight? I got this fucking backdrop behind me, man. If I showed you where I am, man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Let me know how I'm sounding. Appreciate you guys. I needed to come on here tonight. I was gonna, if I had to fucking be in the middle of the street, man, with my fucking laptop and my Rodecaster, it'd be one of those nights. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And make sure you guys do that for me, man. We're nearing 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate you guys very much. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out. Listen, man, no matter where I go, man, I got my cold beverage. So I got my cold beverage tonight. We're doing what we need to do. So get those super chats in. Memberships are open. Become a VIP right here on Off the Scripts. Memberships are always open. So get them on in and hit that join button. And as always, go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. And Ricardo, yeah, I sound good as long as I sound good as it can be, considering you aren't in the van. Listen, man, I know. I'm telling you, bro. I'm not bringing my Shure SM7B on vacation. I'm not bringing my green screen on vacation, man. It's not gonna happen. Go check out all the other videos on the channel, man. We got tons of shit on there, and it's going to be a good weekend, really. Also, you guys already hit the minimum. Normally, I ask for 1,000 likes minimum, man. 1,000 likes is the minimum. You blew it away. Now let's try for 1,500 minimum. Russ, I do sound nasally, bro. I got my nasal spray right here, man. Fucking stuffed, man. I got allergies, brother. What do you want me to tell you? Anyway, that's what I got for you. Let's get into SmackDown, man. SmackDown was a very mid-show tonight, huh? SmackDown was a very, very mid-show. If it wasn't for Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, and it wasn't for that tag team title match at the end of the show, it would have been a very bad show tonight. I didn't really care about anything that happened on SmackDown this evening, and they really got things started with the Bloodline storyline and Sami Zayn. So the show opened up with Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos tossing chairs at ringside. And they were standing on the announce desk. They're basically taking a page out of the NWO's playbook, and they're trying to cause chaos, and they're trying to cause havoc at the start of the show. They beat up most of the locker room on Monday Night Raw. And the Bloodline is out there. Roman Reigns comes out, and everybody gathers in the ring, and they're about to address the Memphis, Tennessee crowd. The Bloodline was in the ring, and fans are chanting, "Usi, Usi," at Sami Zayn. So Roman Reigns is in the ring. He takes the microphone. He is looking at the crowd, and he says, I didn't want to focus on 2023. I want to focus on last year. And we all knew where this was going. He was going to mention last Friday night with John Cena and Kevin Owens against, himself and Sami Zayn. Reigns says that he and Sami had the biggest SmackDown match of the entire year against John Cena and Kevin Owens. And what do you think happened? Sami looked around all nervous because he knew he was in trouble here. Some say we lost. Reigns laughed like a crazy man. Jimmy Uso was laughing. Solo, standing there with his arms crossed, he didn't really flinch at all. Reigns says it's not in his DNA to lose, and he had to think long and hard about it. I don't lose, says Roman Reigns. He pointed at Sami and said, he lost. So he basically threw Sami Zayn under the bus here. Reigns pointed at Sami, and Sami lost. He says he's got one question. He asked Sami why he guaranteed a win over John Cena and Kevin Owens and called his own shot. Reigns says he calls his shots, and he always wins. He says it's embarrassing to call your shot and then fail to deliver. He asked Sami if he wants to be the tribal chief. Why are you doing things like me? Are you trying to be like me? Do you want to do what I do? Do you think you can do things better than me? He looked at Sami and asked if he thinks he is Roman Reigns. Reigns yelled. He yelled at Sami. He was basically scolding Sami to a point where it was basically on the verge of Sami was going to get his ass beaten by Roman Reigns. Sami backed into the corner. He didn't know how to take this. Kevin Owens comes out to save the day. Kevin Owens comes out. He saves the day. And Owens has interrupted this scolding of Roman Reigns to Sami Zayn. Owens looked at the ring and said, before things go too far, Reigns needs to calm down and take a deep breath. He says he's, got some misdirected anger. And you're kind of projecting it on Sami. Sami's not to blame here. You're not mad at Sami Zayn. I'm the cause of his problems, is what Kevin Owens says. Sami Zayn is not the cause of your problems. I'm the cause of your problems. Because you said it yourself. You have a KO problem. He says, it's time to show everyone what the tribal chief does. He said, a good way to take care of the KO problem at the Royal Rumble in a singles match would be for the Undisputed Championship. So this will be the third time that Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens do battle at the Royal Rumble. It happened 2 other times, once with Chris Jericho in a shark cage, and then back in 2021 in a last man standing match that almost got completely botched because Roman Reigns was tied up to a fucking steel post and nobody could unlock him. And the handcuffs were not that easily, Paul Heyman was fiddling with the lock. If you guys remember, it was not something that was easy to take off of Roman Reigns. So this will be the third opportunity that KO and Roman Reigns have at the Royal Rumble. So Reigns says, sure, whatever. I just want you gone forever. And Owens says, yeah, I'm not going anywhere, but I'll leave for now, and then I'll see you at the Royal Rumble. And then he looks at Sammy and says, Sammy, I'll see you when you manage to dig your balls out of Roman Reigns' pocket. So, it's funny. KO to the rescue just in time here. They are basically painting a window into the future for what's going to happen. And I love it. Reigns was excellent on the microphone. I love when Reigns gets angry at, whomever it is. I think he's just great when he's angry. He's been out there kind of loose lately. He's been kind of playing into the Sammy Uso, honorary Us, things are Rusey type of situation. But when Roman is this angry, Roman is very good. I like that WWE is actually, and this is something I want you guys to be very attentive of. If Vince was in charge, wins and losses meant nothing to Vince. I mean, he could have someone lose fucking 4 times in a row and then put them in a championship match the next week. I mean, wins and losses meant nothing to Vince McMahon. I love the fact that Roman Reigns was on the microphone and he addressed losing last week on this week's SmackDown. Now that is advancement. Now that, to me, is change. Because something like that would have never been addressed in the Vince McMahon era. Wins and losses meant nothing to that man. Now, wins and losses don't really mean much in WWE right now, but they mean more now than they did then. So that's why I was very important. That's why I thought this was very important and why this was, a great, thing to think about when Roman Reigns was cutting this promo. And he hasn't lost in 800 and some odd days, 850 days. So, of course, it's got to be important. Of course. So I love the fact that it was referenced. Sammy's reaction towards him was great. You just seen Sammy's just body language, man. He was basically on the verge of tears. And, man, when that moment comes, man, I'm telling you, there's going to be grown men in that arena at home watching Sami Zayn get the fucking shit kicked out of him. Grown men are going to be crying, bro. I'm telling you right now, grown men are going to be crying. KO coming out just shows you where this is going, and he is going to be the person to back Sammy when all of the bloodline eventually ditch Sammy and leave him bloody and broken in a ditch somewhere. So it's going to be very awesome, and I can't wait. It's going to be great. Kofi Kingston. He went one-on-one with Santos Escobar. Always great seeing Santos Escobar. And I'd love to see Legado go up against the New Day. I think that would be a tremendous tag team battle. This would be a great trios if we had Big E back in action, but we don't know when Big E's set to come back due to his possible career-ending injury with the neck. But Santos Escobar, to me, is good television. So they're selling this as, Kofi has already announced himself for the Royal Rumble. WWE is selling this as, Kofi is going to try and, go into the Royal Rumble and come up with some weird fucking bizarre way to stay alive, get eliminated over the top rope, and do something that saves his ass from being eliminated. Some fucking magician's act at the Royal Rumble, right? The feet hitting the ground. He's the master of, coming up with weird ways to save himself from being eliminated in the Royal Rumble. So they're setting the table for this, and they're doing it with Santos. I don't really mind that. I think that's great. Santos needs something to kind of sink his teeth into right away going into the Royal Rumble. It's nice to have, some minor storylines going on in the Royal Rumble. So it looks like we may be getting Santos, upset at Kofi and getting angered by Kofi and have him be the one to potentially eliminate Kofi Kingston going into the Royal Rumble. So that's another thing to look out for. How's Kofi going to save himself in the Royal Rumble? Is Santos Escobar going to be the one to get the one-up on Kofi Kingston and eliminate Kofi Kingston from the Royal Rumble? I don't like the fact that Kofi Kingston announced himself for the Royal Rumble, yet we got a qualifying match with Ricochet tonight. Didn't really make sense to me, but it is what it is. Hopefully we get one qualifying match, and that's it. I don't want to see any more qualifying matches for the Royal Rumble. They don't make sense. I think they're ridiculous. If you got one qualifying match and then you got Kofi announcing himself with no qualifying match in the Royal Rumble, how does that make any sense? And if you want to have qualifying matches, everybody should get a qualifying. There should be 30 fucking qualifying matches. That should be the basis of your television shows for the leagues leading into the Royal Rumble. You can't do that because that would be ridiculous. That's physically impossible to get 30 qualifying matches on TV to get people qualified for the Royal Rumble. It's just ridiculous. So why do they even bother? I said this last week. None of it makes sense. Qualifying matches for the Royal Rumble do not make sense, so stop doing them. This is not a King of the Ring tournament. This is not a Money in the Bank qualifying situation. It's the Royal Rumble. They have 30 men and 30 women for the Royal Rumble. We don't need fucking qualifying matches, and stop telling me who's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Let me find out when I get to January 29th. Santos Escobar wins. This was a decent little match between these two. Like I said, Santos is one of my favorite on the roster. Escobar sent Kingston to ringside with a forearm. Kingston wouldn't let his feet touch the ground. So he did a handspring or a handstand and crawled his way back to the stairs without his feet hitting the floor. So they're teasing that Kofi's going to do something crazy to not get eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Kingston rocked Escobar with a kick to the head, sent him over the top rope. We go to commercial break. Back from break, Escobar was in control. Hit Kofi with a running knee in the corner. Kingston recovered, hit a second rope missile dropkick. Kingston sent Escobar over the top rope, landed on the steps. Of course, that proves he would avoid elimination in the Royal Rumble. He celebrated. Woods played the trombone. Escobar was getting pissed off. He jumped off the steps with both feet hitting the floor. Kingston fired up, hit an SOS for a near fall. They fought on the top rope, but Kingston knocked off Escobar. Kingston jumped off. Escobar rocked him with a knee to the face. Kingston then hit a double foot stomp for another close 2 count. He followed with a boom drop and set up for his Trouble in Paradise finish. Joaquin Wilde and Zelina Vega on the outside, they caused a distraction, and that allowed Escobar to hit a super kick, and then the Phantom Driver, his finish, for the 1-2-3, and Santos Escobar gets the victory over Kofi Kingston. Now, this doesn't bode well for Santos Escobar, because it looks like with Santos Escobar winning here, we may have Kofi get eliminated. He does something silly. He does something crazy. He avoids elimination, gets back in the ring, and then eliminates Santos. So it doesn't look like Santos Escobar is going to bode very well in the Royal Rumble, though I'd have him go at least, Santos Escobar is a great wrestler. I'd have him go at least 20 minutes in the Royal Rumble, give him some decent time in there to get his feet wet in his first Royal Rumble, establish him as the top guy on SmackDown. So at least do that for me. I don't want to see him go in there and get eliminated after 5 minutes by Kofi Kingston. That sounds fucking stupid and lame. So hopefully that is the case. Sami Zayn, he tried to enter the Bloodline locker room. Heyman would not let him enter the room. Heyman said this is not a good time for Mr. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn said he had things to explain to Reigns and that he's not trying to be him. Heyman said now's not a good time. The Usos walked up. They looked at Sami. They didn't really even acknowledge him, and it was a look of disdain almost by the Usos. So the Usos walked right by him, and Heyman said Reigns was waiting for them. They walked right past Sami, and Heyman looked into the locker room. Jimmy was friendly, and Jay looked at Sami like he was in big trouble. Heyman says to Sami to stay 3 steps ahead, and it's too soon to try and make things right. Think about this, he says. I still love you. So he's trying to reaffirm and reassure to Sami Zayn that he has Sami Zayn's back here. But even Paul Heyman, no matter how Paul Heyman feels about Sami Zayn and what Paul Heyman says to Roman Reigns about Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns is the deciding factor in everything. It's Roman Reigns' decision. Just like Vince McMahon's decision now is to, be head of the board and make all these executive decisions about TV media rights deals and facilitate negotiations with TV rights deals, man. It's basically in the same line. Roman Reigns is going to make the decision whether he wants Sami Zayn in the bloodline or not. It's ultimately all his and not Paul Heyman's. Moving on, we got a soundbite from Liv Morgan. She said she loves chaos and she would like to enter the Royal Rumble at number 1 to take on everybody because she can. And we need to watch her. I don't like people telling me what number they want. I don't care. Stop trying to give away Royal Rumble entries. Liv Morgan's going to be in the Royal Rumble, we know. I don't want you to tell me what number you want or what number you're potentially going to come out at. And who believes Liv Morgan? Honestly, tell me, who believes Liv Morgan's going to enter the Royal Rumble at number 1 and be all the way at the end, at the end of that Royal Rumble? She's going to ward off 29 other women? No. That, coming from Liv Morgan, is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable dialogue. I don't mean unbelievable as like, oh my God. No, it's just not believable coming from Liv Morgan. Really. Now, if Shayna Baszler said something like that, I could believe that. Or Rhea Ripley said something like that, I can believe that. But Liv Morgan, no thank you. No thank you. I don't believe a fucking word she says. Kayla Braxton interviewed LA Knight backstage. No Bray Wyatt tonight. Bray Wyatt reportedly was injured at a recent WWE house show, and a minor injury at that, so they're trying to not really facilitate him in a way where it's going to take away from this potential match that we're getting at the Royal Rumble. They don't want to get him more injured ahead of the pitch black match at the Royal Rumble. He says he's walking through Memphis earlier, feeling pretty good, but not because he was in Memphis. He says he was happy because Bray couldn't keep his goon in line last week, and now he gets to pick around the remaining pieces at the Royal Rumble. He said everyone will be talking about him at the Royal Rumble. You know, I know a lot of people love Bray Wyatt. I do. But the one thing I really want you guys to focus on is the emergence of LA Knight. I mean, this guy was dead to rights on SmackDown. And this happened when Vince was in charge. He did not see LA Knight as anything more than a fucking mouthpiece and a manager. He basically turned him into what he wanted to turn Adam Cole into on the main roster. But the rumor going around that Adam Cole was going to be Keith Lee's manager on the main roster, I absolutely believe that. He made LA Knight someone with the charisma and the fucking in-ring ability and the mic work of LA Knight. He wanted to make a fucking manager in the Maximum Male Models, a gimmick that was dead on day one. And look at where LA Knight is now. If you asked me, JD, what do you think of this storyline? I like it. But you want to know who I think the star of the show is here? It's not Bray Wyatt. This entire feud made LA Knight into a bigger star than anybody could ever imagine. He's working with Bray Wyatt, and that's a good thing. That's a positive, right? But LA Knight has somehow, in my eyes, surpassed Bray Wyatt as the act that's carrying this feud. Now, the Bray Wyatt story, it's interesting. It's bizarre. The characters are there. Uncle Howdy. Who's Uncle Howdy? I got news on Uncle Howdy in a second. But the fact that Bray Wyatt is, in my honest opinion, the guy that's not the star of their show anymore, that's a testament to how good LA Knight is, man. I love LA Knight. LA Knight is fucking great. Now, I don't know what a pitch black match is. This could be a fucking disaster waiting to happen. We just don't know. But LA Knight's killing it right now. LA Knight is killing it. I love it. Now, Uncle Howdy. There's news, interesting news on Uncle Howdy, and I love this news. I absolutely love this news, and this was very reassuring to me that WWE has storylines and long-term booking in their best interests. I love this. Bray Wyatt and the Uncle Howdy character right now is nobody knows. It's anybody's guess. But as far as the Uncle Howdy character, apparently whoever is in the Uncle Howdy mask and playing the Uncle Howdy character, it's kind of sounded like to me that the Uncle Howdy character was pretty much picked, and they know who they have and who they want as the Uncle Howdy character. Whoever they got to play Uncle Howdy is the guy. So the person playing Uncle Howdy is now kayfabing everybody backstage And he doesn't walk anywhere without his mask. So everywhere he goes, he's in costume. He's in catering, he's in costume. He enters the building, he's in costume. He's in the corner somewhere in the fucking bowels of the building, he's in the costume. So whoever this guy is, they have who they got. And he's in the costume and in the mask and in character everywhere he goes. Fightful Select reported that WWE is playing everything close to the vest in regards to the identity of Uncle Howdy. In fact, the person in the outfit is kayfabing everyone backstage and going as far as to keep his outfit on backstage so the wrestlers and staff have no idea who this person is. There have been many guesses as to who's under the mask. Vincent from The Righteous, Bo Dallas, right? So these are names being talked about, but don't expect to see anything confirmed until whenever they decide to do a big reveal. As for Wyatt, you know, he was attacked by this Uncle Howdy last week on SmackDown, and now people are saying, well, yes, it's Uncle Howdy, and more than likely we're going to get the reveal at the Royal Rumble in the Pitch Black match, which I hope is the case, because that's a big fucking night. And I think a reveal should have been done already, but I do think a reveal, if they're going to wait for one, the Royal Rumble is the perfect platform to do that. So we will see, but the dedication to this storyline, I love it. I love shit like that, man. The guy, whoever this fucking guy, it could be Bo Dallas for all we know, whoever it is walking around backstage in the fucking mask, kayfabing the entire locker room. I think that's fucking fantastic. It is so fucking good. I love it. It's so good, man. Is it Bo Dallas? Is it Vincent? I could see it being Bo Dallas. I could see Bo Dallas working with Bray Wyatt. I think that would be preferred amongst most who want this storyline to be a success. But the thing is, and I said this last week, why would you debut Bo Dallas with Bray Wyatt first? Like, everybody knows who Bo Dallas is. When they see Bo Dallas, they're going to know who Bo Dallas is. I would do him last. If they do have Dutch and they do have Vincent of The Righteous, I would incorporate them into the act first and get them out there, because they're the ones that are going to need to be put over. Bo Dallas is not going to need to be put over. I mean, he's Bray's brother, real-life brother, so we know who he is. So we'll see what happens, but I think it would be doing it backwards if they did Bo Dallas and then The Righteous. We need to see these guys on WWE TV to be built up first, because nobody knows who they are. And then we do Bo Dallas. But that's just me. Moving on. We got Emma and Madcap Moss, real-life couple here, against Scarlett and Karrion Kross. Real-life couple. Scarlett and Kross are married. Emma and Madcap are dating. This went 5 minutes. There really wasn't a lot to this. This was very, very mid, if I was to use a term. Very, very lame, very, very soft. There was nothing interesting here. Karrion Kross is supposed to be starting a program with Rey Mysterio. That hasn't gotten started yet. We've seen a promo back and forth between the two of them a couple of weeks ago. I don't know when that's going to get started, but we got a mixed tag team match here that went absolutely nowhere. So Scarlett and Emma, they were in the ring. Not really much to their back and forth in the ring. Scarlett threw Emma into a ring post and over the announce desk. Kross then put Moss in a crush jacket in the ring for a submission. And Kross addressed Rey via the ringside camera and said that after the match, he will suffer the same fate as Madcap Moss. So I don't understand what they're doing here with Madcap and Emma. This is not making Emma and Madcap look good. This is not making Kross and Scarlett look good. I feel like they're just biding time. This feud is not working out for either guy or either woman. And they're just wasting time now before Kross goes on to Rey Mysterio, which I'm actually intrigued by. And I'm intrigued by because, you know, Kross has worked Mexico. Kross knows the Lucha Libre style. He knows the Lucha Libre tradition. He's worked, you know, with guys like that. So I do think that it'll be a great match for Kross. It's going to be something that I do think that elevates Kross, and I do think that the reason why that they're putting Kross with Rey Mysterio is to elevate him. I mean, if you can't get over in a match with Rey Mysterio, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Seriously. So this is one of those things where I think it's kind of foolproof from management. Hey, Kross is not really where he needs to be. He's kind of lukewarm out there. The fans aren't really reacting to him. Let's put him in there with people who love Rey Mysterio, will react to Rey Mysterio and Kross. So I do think that it's going to be one of those things that they're going to try and use to get Kross over. But is it going to work? Nobody knows. I hope for Kross's case it does work, because he's not where he needs to be. He seems like an afterthought, and I don't want to feel that way, But I do think that Cross right now feels like an afterthought on Monday Night Raw after coming in with a great return to the company. He really hasn't done much of anything on the show. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he can get over with this Rey Mysterio feud and what happens if he doesn't. That's the problem. Everybody loves Rey. If you can't get over in a Rey Mysterio match or a Rey Mysterio feud, I don't know. Cross, I don't want to say he's a failure yet, but it ain't looking good. Moving on, we go to Charlotte. I ranted on Charlotte last week. You guys know how I feel about Charlotte Flair. She made her ring entrance. If you guys want to go watch that video back, man, it was the rant of all rants on Charlotte Flair. So make sure you guys go check that out. Last week's SmackDown, I also posted YouTube shorts and TikTok videos, so make sure you guys go do that. Charlotte's out there, long-winded entrance, sickening. I got physically ill watching Charlotte return to the WWE. Charlotte asked the fans if they missed her. No, we did not. We did not miss her. She said that she missed them. No, you didn't. She said Ronda Rousey, found that Payback is a bitch. Fans chanted, "Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte." I didn't know Memphis, Tennessee was a bunch of fucking hicks, man. So fucking stupid. Thank you, Charlotte? Really? Who's thanking Charlotte for anything? She said she was gone for 8 months, and whether you love to hate her or hate to love her, she was gratified by the fan response to her return last week. She said she's always been about passion, consistency, and dedication for what she does in the ring. Nobody's really taken what she's done in the ring and blasted what she does in the ring. We all know she's a great wrestler, right? We all know Charlotte's a very good professional wrestler. We're not talking about Charlotte's in-ring ability. We're talking about Charlotte the character and Charlotte's agenda in the WWE women's division. 14-time world champion. For what? Nothing that Charlotte has done has been memorable in this company. Nothing. You can argue with me that maybe there's one or two things, but Charlotte's 14 run, how many of Charlotte's 14 runs have been memorable? Are you going to go back on the WWE Network and revisit Charlotte's fucking memorable title run? No. Nobody will. Nobody does. Nobody cares. She said she's been about passion, consistency, and dedication for what she does in the ring. She said she might be a lot different, or there might be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. One thing she is not is complacent. She said she will knock down any obstacle that stands in her way. She said as a champion, she expects the unexpected and rises to any occasion. She said she has done that 14 times. Yes, being a 14-time champion also means you've lost the championship 13 times. So you're a 13-time loser. Nobody gives a fuck that you won the title 14 times. The way I look at it is you lost the title 13 times. Sonya Deville interrupted. Got a microphone in hand. She says, hold the phone. Deville, she literally said the Memphis crowd were hillbillies, and there were hillbillies in the crowd, and they might not be able to see through her lies, but I can, she says. She said there should be asterisks next to number 14 because she beat a half-dead Ronda Rousey. She said, how'd she fare against a fresh fighter? So we got this match tonight, and Sonya Deville is challenging Ronda Rousey on SmackDown, which would not bode well for Sonya Deville, and that's basically it. 7 minutes, Charlotte beat Sonya, and that was it. Charlotte's a babyface, folks. How excited are you about Charlotte operating as a babyface? How long do you give her working as a babyface, is what I ask. Now, Ronda, I don't know if Ronda's going to be a heel or a babyface. Ronda said on her Twitch stream, I don't know, I guess it was this week. I think it was after the title loss, right? So she said that, yeah, I'm bored with the SmackDown women's title. I've been there, done that. I'm kind of tired of chasing it, and I'm tired of Charlotte. It's something that I don't want anymore. How about we go after the tag team titles? So it looks like Charlotte is going to be Ronda-less, and Ronda's going to be teaming with Shayna, and she's going to be chasing the tag team championships. I mean, I can't hate on that, right? I think that's a good deal. But the WWE tag team titles in the women's division, they're just as useless as the fucking SmackDown women's title. And Charlotte, people give 1 month. 2 to 3 weeks. 1 week. It's all over the place, man. 1 month is a likely landing spot for Charlotte's babyface run. You thought Charlotte sucks as a heel, man. She's even worse as a babyface. This woman is a natural heel. What the fuck is she doing as a babyface? She's actually going to be worse as a babyface. It's just nauseating. The fact that she's out there operating as a babyface, I can't listen to her fucking talk. I can't listen to her talk in a normal fucking week when she's heel. A babyface Charlotte is what you're going to ask me to get invested in? This shit is fucking set up for disaster. No way. No way. Everything I said last week about Charlotte, this week I double down on it. I don't change a fucking thing at all. The women's division is in worse hands with Charlotte. The only thing different is Charlotte can wrestle, Ronda can't. But you're getting the same fucking champion that you got with Ronda. Somebody the fans don't ultimately care about. She will do nothing for that division and will do nothing for anybody in that division. Lacey Evans had a vignette. She's out there in the WWE Performance Center training with rookies. And her new finishing move, folks, is the Cobra Clutch. Basically, the $1 million dream is her finishing move. So Lacey Evans is coming back, and she's this military fucking expert. She's got military background, and she's got her new finishing move, the Cobra Clutch. When are they going to fucking realize that Lacey Evans is a failure? Trash. Complete waste of time. I'm guessing they're, listen, folks, I'm going to throw it out there, man. I'm going to throw it out there just for the fucking shits and giggles of everybody watching me, man. What if WWE is setting up Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans for WrestleMania? Who else they got? Who else would they have on SmackDown? They're going to bring Lacey Evans back as a top babyface on this brand because of her background, and they're going to set up Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans for WrestleMania. Mark my words. Failure. Top Dollar, Top Jabba with B-Fab and Ashante the Adonis against Ricochet. This is a Royal Rumble qualifying match. 3 minutes. Ricochet wins with a shooting star press for the win. Afterwards, Top Dollar offered a handshake to Ricochet. Ricochet was hesitant, then moved in, shook his hand, gave him a hug. Top Dollar raised his arm. Adonis then super kicked Ricochet, and Top Dollar started yelling at him, "You think I'm a joke?" B-Fab took a shot, super kicked him in the face. Adonis then mouthed off and started punching away at him. And Hit Row turned heel. Hit Row turned heel. Okay. Hit Row turned heel. So we have Hit Row turning heel. Do I think this is a better role for them as a babyface? Yes. Do I think anybody is going to care about them now that they've turned heel? No. No, I do not. I think what we're getting here is a last-ditch effort for Hit Row on WWE's television. And I do think if that they are heel, they'll be better off as babyface. But ultimately, if they fail as a heel act, I mean, what good do we... what good are they to SmackDown? Now, honestly, I don't want to agree with Vince. But I can see why Vince fired... I can't see why Vince fired Swerve. But I could see why Vince fired these three and got rid of Hit Row. I think Top Dollar's a waste of fucking payroll. I do. There's nothing redeeming about him. There's nothing redeeming about him at all. Ashante Adonis is probably the star of the act there, and there's a very minimal role for him. I don't know why they were brought back and put on the main roster. I don't. They would have been perfect for NXT. They would have been perfect to get their feet wet back on NXT. I don't even... This all goes back to what I said about them when they got fucking fired. They were not ready for the main roster. They brought them up to the main roster way too soon. They were not ready when they got the call up. They ended up getting fired, and Triple H brought them back thinking that they were ready for the main roster, and they are not ready for the main roster. I don't know why they did not go back to NXT, because they needed more time to marinate down there. Top Dollar is not where he needs to be. B-Fab is not where she needs to be. They should have been on NXT. Seriously. They do not belong on Friday night. They didn't then, and they don't now. Bloodline. Roman Reigns was in the locker room. Usos were getting ready for their match. So Reigns says to Heyman, "I need Sami Zayn." So Sami Zayn walks into the locker room. Sami Zayn walked in and assured Roman Reigns that Reigns is the tribal chief, and he apologized if he gave off a different impression. So Reigns leaned forward, took a deep breath. He says he doesn't accept his apology. Sami buried his face in his hands. Reigns says he upholds himself to a very high standard, and at the end of the day, he has to control his anger. He said, no one deserves to be spoken to in front of the whole world like he did earlier. I don't accept your apology, and I should be the one apologizing. So he apologized to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn didn't have to apologize to Roman Reigns, even though he did, but Roman says, no, I'm not accepting your apology. I'm apologizing to you. So Sami said, I know you're under a lot of pressure. He understands. Reigns says he appreciates it, but there's no excuse for my actions out there. He said KO was right. He's not mad at Sami. I'm mad at KO. And he took it out on him. He said that's not right, but he'll fix it. So Heyman gets up. Heyman was sitting in the background. He gets up. He sits next to Sami Zayn. And he says, the Tribal Chief will give you one opportunity to redeem yourself. Next week on Friday Night SmackDown will be Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. So Sami looked at this as an opportunity. He got excited about it, and he said, yes, let's do it. So Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens next week on SmackDown. This will be, and Michael Cole said so on commentary, this is the biggest match in Sami Zayn's career against his best friend. Right now, up until this point, because who knows if we're going to get Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns sometime in 2023. We may get that at the Elimination Chamber as it's being rumored. But as far as Sami Zayn is concerned up until this point, this is the biggest match of Sami Zayn's career. Because this will be, if you thought tonight was the catalyst, next week is absolutely the catalyst for everything that's going to go wrong. From this point on, you know, it's amazing, man. We're in a storyline right now where it's Sami Zayn was trending upwards, right? He was high on life. He was on cloud 9. Going into 2022, right? We're ending 2022, rather. He goes into that match with Roman Reigns against Cena and Owens. That match is the beginning of the end for Sami Zayn. The downfall of Sami Zayn will continue going on from that match into next week, into the Royal Rumble, into the Elimination Chamber. I don't know when the beatdown's going to come. I don't know where the beatdown's going to be, but it's coming. And everybody is going to be fucking shocked. Not really, but kind of shocked when it happens. Because everybody loves Sami. Sami's going to be the biggest babyface in the entire company, and it's going to be an absolute epic fucking conclusion to this storyline. And then the next chapter, the coming together of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who are real-life best friends, taking on the Bloodline and winning the tag team championships. It is going to be fucking incredible. I can't wait. So right now, he thinks everything's all right. I'm going to redeem myself. Kevin Owens, nobody knows Kevin Owens better than me. Kevin Owens is going to beat Sami Zayn next week in the main event. And then it's all over for Sami Zayn. Seriously, it's all over. I can't wait. So they watched the match together. Sami Zayn was going to get up and go out to the ring with the Usos. Roman Reigns says, no, watch the match with me. Sami Zayn got a bucket of popcorn. He's sitting there watching the match. Usos versus Drew McIntyre and Sheamus for the undisputed tag team championships in the main event. This was fine for what it was. I've seen better from the Usos. I've seen better from McIntyre and Sheamus. I didn't really sit here thinking it was an absolute banger of a match like Sheamus usually goes out and delivers, but, you know, more of the same. More of the same. The Usos, you know, you're starting to feel, and I don't want to take anything away from the Usos, but you're starting to feel the sameness in the Usos title matches. You know, they've wrestled Kevin Owens a handful of times with multiple tag team partners, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens and Matt Riddle. They wrestled the Street Profits. They've wrestled the Brawling Brutes. They've wrestled Sheamus and McIntyre. I mean, every match is starting to feel the same. And when I start to feel the same about the Usos matches, I also think, well, now I think it's time to take the tag team championships off of the Usos. Not to take anything away from the Usos. They are the best tag team in WWE history, in my honest opinion. And they are, you know, certified Hall of Famers. But how long can we keep this up? You know, a lot of people are like, well, why do you want the bloodline to end? Because it's going on for too long. I mean, Roman Reigns has 850 fucking days as world champion. The Usos have 530 fucking days as tag team champions. WrestleMania Night 2 should absolutely be the downfall of the bloodline. Roman losing the titles to Cody Rhodes and the Usos losing the titles to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That needs to be the end of the line for the bloodline. No doubt about it. I didn't really care for this match because I knew what the outcome was. They could make it as believable as possible. But the Usos are not losing the tag team championships to what they were calling what were they calling them? The Brawling Bros? No, what the fuck were they calling them? I forgot what they called themselves. I don't know. It sounded like a fucking Pornhub name, to be honest with you. I don't know what the fuck they named them as. The Brawling something, the Basham Bros or something like that. I don't fucking know. They gave them some weird cheesy fucking name. The Banger Bros. Yeah, they like who names themselves the Banger Bros? Seriously. I mean, legitimately, if you're a 10-year-old kid and you go look up Banger Bros on fucking Google, is that something you really want to put out there on WWE's television show? I mean, give me a fucking break, man. I mean, God knows what the fuck you'll find if you Google Banger Bros online. Holy shit. I don't know if they really thought. It sounds like a Bruce Pritchard fucking error right there, man. How to get fucked on social media one-on-one by Bruce Pritchard. Holy shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. The match itself was fine. Very samey to me. Usos win in about 14 minutes. Usos took over when Jimmy interfered from the apron, allowing Jay to the Samoan drop on McIntyre. The Usos isolated McIntyre on their side of the ring. Jimmy slowed the pace down. McIntyre was being beaten down. He eventually broke free. Jimmy regained control. McIntyre ended up on the apron. He tried fighting off the Usos, but they overwhelmed him. McIntyre started fighting back. Jay took advantage, caught McIntyre with a suicide dive. We go to commercial break. They're beating down on him. Sheamus makes the hot tag. He goes crazy on the Usos. The hot tag happened during the break. We never seen it. Sheamus was on his own. He gave Jay the 20 beats across the chest. Jay rocks Sheamus with a super kick, allowing Jimmy to the frog splash for a near fall. We see Sami Zayn and a bucket of popcorn in the locker room. He's offering Reigns and Heyman popcorn as he's talking about what's going on TV. So the Usos went up for a double splash. McIntyre and Sheamus cut them off. McIntyre and Sheamus hit white noise on each Uso off the middle ropes. McIntyre fired up, hitting a dive over the top rope onto the Usos. McIntyre then hit a Claymore kick on Jay. Jimmy broke up the pin attempt. After taking out McIntyre, the Usos hit a double super kick on Sheamus and the 1D. That appeared to be the finish, but McIntyre broke up the pin attempt with a huge breakup. So they went back to the Bloodline locker room. Zayn, Reigns, and Heyman each had their own bucket of popcorn at this point. Solo Sikoa pulled out McIntyre, hit the spinning solo onto the barricade. Butch and Rich Holland ran out and fought off Sikoa. They were no longer a part of the match, so they chased Sikoa to the back. Sheamus fought off the Usos on his own several minutes. Finish came when Jimmy rolled up Sheamus, and Jay held him down from the apron for the win. So Solo took out McIntyre. He basically gave him a Uranage on the barricade, and then Sheamus was left by himself. 1D, and that was basically it. The Banger Bros lose, and they do not capture the tag team championships, and the Usos celebrated their title win as SmackDown went off the air. Not really a good episode of SmackDown, in my honest opinion. It was a very lackluster show, and I honestly think all of the news about Vince McMahon kind of overshadowed everything about what had happened on SmackDown tonight, which, I mean, that's what he does. And that's what Vince McMahon set out to do. He wanted everything to be about himself, and he wanted to take all of the attention away from what Triple H is doing. He made it about himself, and he succeeded, at least for this 1 week. And who knows what else, what other nightmares are yet to be discovered and fucking reported on next week with Vince McMahon. It's going to be crazy. It is going to be crazy. But that is all I got for you on this Friday night, man. We got SmackDown in the books. We talked about Vince McMahon for a little bit. We had 3,500 people right here live on YouTube, and I really appreciate you guys and your support, as always, right here on Off the Script. We're going to get into the Super Chats. Gibson, no, they're not the Gangbang Bros, bro. They are the Banger Bros. Get your mind out of the gutter, man. What is a Banger Bro? I have no idea. Go Google Banger Bros. I'm sure something will pop up. Appreciate you guys very much, man. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. For everybody that's just joining now, where's the venue? I'm not home. I'm not home. Just ask yourself. Just ask yourself, would JD really not be in the venue? Where the fuck do you think I am? Why do you honestly think I don't have the venue? Is it because I did so because I changed my background? Somebody fill these geeks in the chat before I fucking get rid of them. Honestly. Fucking ridiculous, man. Who gives a fuck where I am? I'm live. Osakui kicked me out of the venue, man. He owns fucking majority rights to the venue. That's what happened. Anyway, guys, we're going to get into the super chats. I need to, let me get into my my YouTube settings here, man. We got a ton of super chats to go over. You guys are fucking unbelievable. Crazy. Never too late to get the super chats in, man. Joseph Taylor with an $11 super chat. JD, who would win this match? 2017 Kenny Omega or 2020-2022 Roman Reigns as far as Vince goes? If he's not in charge of creative, I don't care what he does. Now he's back in WWE. Bro, why are you asking me to pick a winner of Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns, bro? It's all predetermined. Who's the better wrestler? Kenny Omega's the better wrestler. Who's the better character? Roman Reigns is on top of the fucking wrestling world right now. It's just, it's not a feasible question, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Michelle Moran with a $2 super chat. Roman unraveling is the downfall of the bloodline. Yes. Roman Reigns is unraveling tonight. Absolutely. Paul David with a $20 super chat. Don't tell me Vince is already about to take charge of creative because he clearly says he has the best creative team in the business. By the way, who wins the Natty Monday? TCU or Georgia? Paul, I don't watch college football, bro. I haven't watched a college football game in my entire life, bro. I could not give a single solitary shit about college football. Talk to me when baseball season begins in March. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Manny with a $5 super chat. What was WWE's creative thinking when they named Sheamus and McIntyre the Banger Bros? Does anybody have these things go through quality control? I don't know, bro. Bro, I'm going to Google Banger Bros right now. I want to see. I may give myself a fucking computer virus, but we'll see what happens. Banger Bros. Banger Bros. Let me see. What's the first thing that pops up? So you go type in Banger Bros, bro. Go type in Google on Banger Bros, bro. The first thing that pops up, Banger Bros porn videos, Pornhub.com. The first thing that pops up. Bruce made a boo-boo, bro. Bruce Pritchard made a boo-boo. Actually, the first four things of Banger Bros, bro. Pornhub, xnxx.com, xvideos.com, and redtube.com. Yeah, they fucked up. They fucked up big time, bro. So if you're a child and you're at home on a mobile device, bro, and you type in, oh yeah, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they're the Banger, bro. They fucked up, bro. Big time. I don't watch porn, bro. I don't need to. Michelle Moran with a $10 super chat. I almost thought that they were going to rush Sammy out of the bloodline. I had that thought due to Vince being back. How long before he takes over creative too? Cena and Rock should stay away from WWE. Michelle, we'll talk about that on Sunday. I got a lot more in regards to Vince that we will discuss on Sunday when I'm back in my element and I can be as boisterous as I want. We got a lot going on Sunday, so make sure you guys tune in. Soundwave 80s 199. What if the Saudis buy out WWE? Then we're fucked. Then we're fucked, bro. Tony Brown with a 199 super chat. Good storyline tonight. Yeah, it's the Bloodline. It's the best thing in pro wrestling right now. KW with a 99.99 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. That's a lot of money, man. I appreciate you stopping by and dropping some bombs for the first SmackDown post show of the year. I look at the positives in life. At least with that jack-off back now, I have another 5 hours a week to do something other than watch TV. Keep up the great work, JD. KW. I would be honest with you, bro. I would not lie to you guys. I don't think Vince is going to be running creative, at least yet. And if he does, it'll be in the news. They have no choice but to. So right now, you know, I don't foresee that happening. I would not worry. I would not worry. But you never know. This guy can go out there and do whatever the fuck he wants. Nobody thought he would return, and now he's back. If you don't think he can take over everything that he once had, I think those people are fucking stupid. Tonic Blaze with a 9.99. What's up, JD? Here's a joke to uplift your spirits. Why did Princess Peach choke? Because Mario came down the wrong pipe. Tonic Blaze, huh? Maybe you should be giving Sidro some advice, bro. I don't know. That was more of a Andrew Dice Clay-like joke there, Tonic Blaze. What are you doing? Thank you, brother. Matt, the PW fan, with a $100 super chat. Thank you so much, Matt. Love you, brother. You said it best a few weeks ago. Vince McMahon is not going to be happy until WWE is dead. He bullied his way back in after the board unanimously said they didn't want him back. He's an egomaniac, and he will be back as head of creative sooner rather than later. Bro, this man got rid of 3 people on the board of directors to make way for people that he self-appointed, that he knew would be in his corner. And then 2 others had stepped down. So now the board of directors sits at 9, and Vince thinks he has 3 of them in the bag with his family and Nick Khan, and now Michelle Wilson and George Barrios. So he basically is running the board of directors and has supreme power over everything. That's what he did. All the voting power of the board of directors is now in his favor. That's what he did. He's not an idiot. He did what he did because he can't live with himself away from WWE. WrestleMania season without Vince McMahon? Fuck out of here, man. The only time WrestleMania season will be normal is when Vince is dead. Ahmed Yusuf with a $4.99 super chat. Vince is a party pooper. Indeed he is. Basic with a $4.99. Vince's first order of business: cryogenically freeze himself, or freeze Roman Reigns so he'll forever be undisputed champion. You know, Basic, I would not even put that out there because that's something I could see Vince McMahon doing. Philip Newton with a $1.99. This could be the death of WWE. Absolutely. I mean, this guy's fucking threatening to bankrupt the fucking company if he doesn't get his way. Theme parks, $10 super chat. I was upset, but holding out hope that he doesn't touch anything creative or get in Triple H's way. Well, according to Stephanie McMahon, absolutely nothing will change in that aspect. So, Stephanie McMahon is still the co-CEO, along with Nick Khan. We will see. He's only back to get a TV rights deal and sell the company. We'll see. Nick motherfucking Williams with a $100 super chat, man. I'm sorry, 2023. I'm going to have to ask you to get out. Why is Vince back? In what universe? If he even looks at creative, have him hauled out by Stone Cold. Bro, you kidding me, man? I'll take the drive up the I-95 and fucking haul him out myself. And believe me, I won't be alone. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you, brother. Happy to have you here, and hopefully your streams are going well, brother. You picked a great game to start off with. Philip Newton with a $4.99. I was wondering why you didn't do Wrestle Kingdom 17. Because I don't give a shit, Philip. I don't care. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay? I haven't watched it yet. Sasha Banks? That's the only reason why I would have even given a shit at all. I don't care. The people on this channel do not watch New Japan and do not want to hear me cover New Japan. And I don't watch it, so I have no fucking idea what even happened at the show leading up to it. I watch enough wrestling as it is, bro. Kenneth Halperin with a $4.99. I believe Vince is coming back to sell the company to himself. Return full WWE private ownership to himself and do whatever he pleases. I don't know, bro. Vince wants to sell the company, remain in control, and take complete power of the company again privately? You may be onto something, Kenneth. I could absolutely see that being the case. Basic with a $1.99. Vince is going to have to hire a food taster. Well, we have Titus for that, don't we? Eric Newton with a $10 super chat. I'm not surprised. I never believed Vince was ever gone. Red flag was he still had majority shares. Red flag 2 for me was Charlotte winning the title and not Raw improving for the past month. I don't know, man. I do believe Triple H has been in charge, but, you know, everybody wants to say Vince McMahon was running the shit from the shadows, man. I could see it. I could see it. The dud with the $2 super chat. WWE is finished. Well, if he's back creatively, they are. But right now, I think we can hold our breath and let out a sigh of relief. Eugene Morgan with the $10 super chat. I can't wait to see this battle unfold between Vince and the board. 2023 is going to be very interesting. McMahon versus the board for WrestleMania with special guest ref Tony Khan. Tony Khan's tweet today was hilarious, man. He's like, oh, I wonder why everybody's being so nice to me today. World of Wrestling with a $5 super chat. Well, it's official. We are fucked if we want to support this company with Vince McMahon in power. May God have mercy on WWE. The Dud with a $40 super chat. Thank you, brother. Dear JD, happy 2023. Happy 2023, brother. Thank you so much. Shadow Moss, no message, $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. We got a fucking $10 super chat from Mr. Feeney. Everybody loves Mr. Feeney, bro. Who didn't want Mr. Feeney as their fucking teacher, huh? I pray Vince McMahon lets Triple H do his job. Just like you did your job with Sean Hunter, man, right? And Corey Matthews. And Topanga Lawrence. I love that fucking show, man. That was a great show. One of my favorite shows of all time is Boy Meets World. Shadow Moss with a $5 super chat. I didn't say anything wrong. You can't be mad at me for liking who I like. He built that company. Who's mad at you, bro? Who the fuck is mad at you, bro? I mean, listen, if you're gonna talk about Vince McMahon in a gleaming way in my chat, I'm gonna have to ask you to get the fuck out, bro. I'm out. Sorry, I only listen to Jim super chats. Thanks for the show, though, JD. Who the fuck is Jim? Shadow Moss, if you're gonna praise Vince McMahon, bro, I'm gonna have to ask you to get the fuck out of here. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that garbage, bro. Gavin Deeth with a $5 super chat. Stephanie McMahon being a Disney princess in 2023 could happen. It could happen. The mouse could end up buying WWE, bro, and then we're all fucked. Look at what they did to Star Wars. Current Cluck with a $1.99. Lynchburg is 35 miles from me. Welcome to the South. Bro, listen, Cluck, I could tell you right now, man. From me to you, you won't catch me dead living in Lynchburg. Man, I walked around the Jack Daniels distillery, man. All I wanted was a slice of pizza, man. There's no fucking place to get food, man. It looks like everybody just drinks Jack Daniels in the fucking dry county that it is. Couldn't get food anywhere, bro. Had to drive an hour back to fucking Franklin on an empty stomach. Shadow Moss with the $10 super chat. I feel like we need to sit back and see what happens before we judge him. Vince, sweat, blood, and tears is WWE for him to get all this hate. So, yeah, thank you, Vince. From my childhood, I moved on to AEW. Shadow Moss, and I'm going to, listen, bro, I'm going to have to bench you, bro. Bro, unless you got WWE stock and you sold it today and made big money, man, I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up. And you're a VIP, man. I'm gonna have to ask you to get out. Seriously. You're really fucking pissing me off. Really pissing me off, bro. I don't want to have to do that to a VIP, man. You got one more strike against you. Keep that shit to yourself. There's nobody in this chat that wants to hear that garbage. Keep it to yourself. D Bastardo, what's up, brother? $10 super chat. Finally, how are you, JD? First off, Roman lost to Xavier via DQ 14 months ago on SmackDown. Also lost tag team matches on house shows. Belts are so important, they booked main event 2 days prior. And fuck Vince. Listen, bro, I don't even remember the DQ 14 months ago to Xavier Woods. And house show matches don't count, bro. House show matches don't count, brother. It's almost as if they don't exist. Gilroy, when they $5 super chat. Vince's theme is appropriate now. No chance in hell to Triple H. Shadow Moss with a $2 super chat. So, JD, will you have to change the intro now? No. No, I'm not changing the intro. Triple H is not going nowhere. YFNPG with a $1.99. Here's good news. Jade had a great match, plus Vance looked like money. I don't care, bro. If it ain't Dynamite, I don't care. Who did Jade wrestle? Who gives a shit? Who did she wrestle? Red Velvet? And why do I have to go watch Preston Vance wrestle as Pellegrino Sparkling Water? Who gives a shit? Maddie XLT with a $1.99 super chat. No message. He did say, JD definitely a Benoit guy. You can tell 100%. I don't know what the fuck you're insinuating with that, but if you're asking me if Chris Benoit was an excellent professional wrestler, you better fucking believe he was. I hope Maddie XLT is fucking banned from the venue. DGK Dog with a 2-month membership. Thank you, brother. I'd rather take heel Becky Lynch again over anything Charlotte does, especially as a babyface. No. No, we don't want heel Becky Lynch. Matthew Malnar with 5 months. So is Vince McMahon back in WWE? Might as well stop watching now. Nobody needs to stop watching anything, man. We have not seen Vince take over creative. Steven Escalante with a $4.99. If Vince takes control of creative, we should all go to WWE headquarters and riot. Rick H with a $2 super chat. All aboard the Banger Bro bus. I'm telling you, bro, they fucked up. Shadow Moss with a $5 super chat. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, give those guys all the awards. You can only do that match in New Japan. I guess the Banger Bros want to be in the Hall of Fame, huh? Shadow Moss, we're getting Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay again at Forbidden Door. That's my prediction. Joseph Taylor with a $3 super chat. I can see TK somehow buying WWE for the network. Tony Khan is not buying AEW. But he's not buying WWE. On top of AEW. No way. Tyler Bala, a.k.a. TR Bice 97, $2.99. If Vince finds loopholes, WWE is screwed. And we got a $179 super chat from Sarit Mohanty. I don't know what currency this is. YouTube doesn't tell me. I wish they would. WWE run by Vince will be worse than Impact. I agree. I absolutely agree.
My little hobbitses.
Oh, man. Listen, guys, that's all I got for you, man. That's all I got for you. Hopefully we did good tonight. We went 2 hours and 30 minutes or so, man. I will be back operating the way that I should be on Sunday. I will be live at 8 p.m. on Sunday night with Off the Script. We got a ton of shit to go over. I'll be fully rested. We're going to attack this Vince McMahon thing again, and we are going to go over all the other news in the world of pro wrestling, man. There's tons of it. Tons of it. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Right here on location in Franklin, Tennessee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, man. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys support. We need 20 likes for 1,500. That's the goal. Make sure you guys do that for me. 20 likes is all I need. I know there's 2,500 of you still in here, man. I know 20 of you have not hit the thumbs up. So go and do that for me. Thank you for the super chat love tonight. Thank you to the new members tonight. I want to shout out my new members tonight, man. Let me shout out some of my channel members here tonight. We got Danny in Oak Park. We got Matthew Bonneau, John S. Gaming 347, Johnny Retsu, Antonio Munez Jr., Jeff Smith, Felipe Salinas, Ronald Sims, Quentin Tillman, Jamarcus Shaw, Mecky McClendon, Manny, Rich Gamble, Shadow Moss, and YFNPG all have either joined on for the first time or re-upped. Thank you guys for the recommitments, man. Appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other content on the channel. Tons of it, man. YouTube Shorts. There are live streams that you might have missed. Videos. I did one on Sasha Banks yesterday. Go check that out. My thoughts on Sasha's debut in New Japan. And make sure you guys follow me on social media, man. At JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Guys, I will see you live. Members only on Sunday night. I'm JD from New York, on location in Tennessee. I'm on vacation. Sucks that this news broke about Vince McMahon. I'm not home. I hate when this shit happens, but hopefully I filled you guys in a little bit on where my mindset is at. We'll go at it live on Sunday night. Should be a big stream on Sunday night. I hope so. And I'll see you guys there in the OTS venue, man. Thank you guys so very much. And I'll see you all live on Sunday night for Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.